welcome. This is Teach Me Thursday. I don't know, we normally do Watch Me Wednesday, but we are Thursday. This is our fourth day on the bounce. Fourth day on the trot, whatever you want to call it. If you have no idea who I am, hello, this is me. My name is Natalie O'Shea. I teach people how to make handmade cards. And not only do I teach you how to do it, I sell all the products to do it too. So everything that you see that I'll be using today, you can get by looking at www.natalieoshea.stampinup.net. Or you can see the links below. So the links in the description, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, there are links to the individual products. So if you're kind of sitting there going, oh, I wonder how much that is, or I need to find out a bit more information about that, you can click on any of those links and you can go to the shop. I think my voice is giving up. It's like, you've talked a lot this week, Natalie. And I do have a little bit of a frog in my throat, but I do have a cup of tea as well. So... So my apologies if you've got headphones in and I'm coughing down your ear. But that is me. So the other way you can do it is stay there is www.natalieoshea.stampinup.net. But here today I'm doing a week of flowery Facebooks. It's making handmade cards using flowery things. It's grey, miserable and raining again out there today. So flowers bring some light and make us think that spring is on its way, which it really is. I think next week it's all going to change. It does look like it's going to... I don't know why I'm whispering, but it does seem that it's going to get a little bit warmer next week. So, oh, this is going to have to be a short one if my voice is going to keep playing up. But, so kind of let's get into it then, shall we? This might have to be a watch-only video and not listen video. But if you are here, then give me a thumbs up or a love heart just so I know you're here, or say hello, leave me a comment. I love to see your comments. And I look back at them all afterwards. So we have had day 1, 2, 3, and this is day 4. So if you have missed out on those, you can either go further up my Facebook feed or further down my first Facebook feed if you're watching on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, you should be able to just see the videos prior to today's. This will all be uploaded as soon as I get a chance to afterwards. So YouTube is sometimes the quickest place to go to because it's got all the videos in a line rather than scrolling up and down Facebook. So you can see both the links to those. If you subscribe to both, subscribe to my Facebook page and Facebook will tell you when I go live, and if you subscribe to my YouTube channel then YouTube will tell you when I upload a video as well. That way you don't get to miss anything. Morning, hello, morning, it's afternoon now. As says Pauline. Hi Pauline, it is afternoon, yes. Oh, and a grotty old afternoon it is. So what have I got to go just through the basics as this is the last day. So tomorrow I won't be live on this Facebook page. I've set up an online workshop group and you just need to go over and ask to join that group. Everyone's welcome, but I'll be going live over there next tomorrow. And it'll be very similar to what we're doing now, but instead of one card each day, I'm actually doing 4 different cards tomorrow. So it will be a bit longer. I'm expecting it to last about 2 hours, so I'm hoping my voice doesn't stick out that long. Maybe not that long, who knows? Depends how quick I craft and how much we chat. But anything from sort of an hour to 2 hours. I'm only saying 2 hours because it's taken me nearly an hour to do one card all week. But yes, so we'll be over on that Facebook group. Now that link is in the description as well. So if you click that, then tomorrow, which is the 19th tomorrow, we will be live in there. But again, if you can't join us live, if you join the group, then you can watch the replay if you want. I may or may not put it to YouTube. I think it depends on how long it goes on for as to whether I upload it there or not. So we'll see. So what else have we got going on at the moment? I mean, let's have a little move my camera. Oh, move that out of the way, otherwise you get a sneaky peek. So here we are down here. So I have explained that at the moment we have a promotion going on, which is Celebration. It used to be for 3 months, but it's only for 2 months now. So if you're sitting here and you're used to Stamping Up Celebration promotions and you think, oh, it's fine, I've got till the end of March. You haven't. You've only got till the end of February. So that's literally another however many days. 10 days? 10 days, I think. So... What is Celebration? Celebration has a few parts to it. If you spend £45 on other products that you see me using today, then you can pick one of these products for free. So there's some pattern paper here. So we've done a lot with pattern paper this week, so you might just like that pattern paper instead. You've got a Darling Donkeys stamp set, which has been super popular. You can have a Approaching Perfection stamp set there. You can have this Oh So Ombre pattern paper, that's 6x6 paper. You can have Corner Bouquet stamp set, Heal Your Heart stamp set. So that's one of the stamp sets I've been using this week for some of the cards. I'm not using it today. I think I'm using it tomorrow. In fact, I am using it tomorrow. So that's a beauty. I love that set. You've got the Flower and Field paper as well. This is what I've been using all week. So again, not only have you had 4 designs by the end of today from me, there's another 4 ideas there as well for that paper. And that's a 12x12 paper. But then we go back up into the if you spend £90. So again, people have a big wish list. If you've got £90, you can have this stamp set for free. Or you can have this stamp set and 12x12 pattern paper for free as well. So they are your options for purchasing. You also have an option that if you either gather some orders from your friends and family for £275. Now that is a lot, but actually if you've got a few friends and family that are spending sort of £20–30 each and you gather it all together, then not only do you get 12% back of what the total order is to spend on things you want for free, you're also getting this free set as well, which goes with a lot of our punches. And I have been showing you lots of punches this week. I haven't shown you the heart actually. The postage stamp is a good one. I haven't shown you that either, but I have shown you the ovals there and lots of sentiments that fit inside those as well. So that's free. You can also, if you've got a super big order and you want to spend £275 yourself, then you will not only get each one of these for every £45 or £90 that you spend, you get that as well. So lots of free stuff. And then we have gone over, and in fact lots of you are joining as a demonstrator because you're understanding what a great value it is. So if you've got a wish list of more than £99, then you really should give some consideration to join. Now I know join can be a scary word, I know demonstrator can be a scary word, but honestly most of my team and most Stampin' Up! Demonstrators worldwide actually just buy for themselves at a discount. They may share with some friends and family, they may run a class if they want to once a month, or they might go all singing, all dancing, do it full time and everything in between. But that's entirely up to you. But don't think that by signing as a demonstrator, you have to do this and you have to do that. It's a very soft, lovely company that you can do what you like. And if you just want a discount because you've got a big wish list, I mean, if you were thinking of spending £275 just to get this stamp set, we need to talk because you can save yourself lots of money by doing this. So you pick £130 out the catalogue of your choice, whatever you want. I had somebody who wanted the new Stampin' Cut emboss machine, which I'm going to show you again briefly today. And so she's included that in her starter kit along with some dies for her £99. So she saved herself £31. She's got free P&P and she's got 200 sheets of 6x6 pattern paper in every Stampin' Up! Colour that we do as well. How cool is that? So if you've got a wish list of £99 or you want a discount off your future orders, please talk to me. This offer here of the extra paper is only on for another 10 days. Then it does go back to normal, which is the £130 for £99, which is still a bargain. Still a bargain. I'd like to pay £99 for something that's £130. You just don't get the paper. So if you're considering joining us, then don't leave it too late. Certainly don't leave it till 10 o'clock on the evening of the 28th of February, because that's a Sunday, I believe. And if it all goes wrong, there's not an awful lot I can do. So there we go. That's kind of what I wanted to go through. So that's if you spend your £45, your £90. But for me, I have shared this all week, this cute little holder I've got here. So this is my little desk adhesive holder. And if you order £50 or more, now that's not an additional 50 to the 45, that's just £5 more. So not only do you get your celebration picks, you can get the instructions, the PDF, the written instructions, a video of how to make this, You also get the cardstock, the pattern paper, the die cut for you to put whatever you want on it, and everything there. I'm also going to give you a Tombow glue, and I'm also going to give you a pack of dimensionals. You don't get the glue dots, you don't get the tape and my leftover bits, because you can see this is work in progress. This is what I use. And obviously you could get a refill as well. That could be part of your starter kit if you wanted to. So card, paper, die cut, Tombow, dimensionals. Just if you spend £50 with me. Now you have to use the host code that is in the description in both YouTube and Facebook. So you have to use that host code. Just click on that link though in that description, and it includes the host code automatically for you. So you don't even need to add it. As long as you're using that link, you're all good, because that's what tells me that you have, you want this. So your order has to be £50 or more to get it, but that's my little ordering special just for this week, and I'm extending it till Sunday, but that's it. So that's the 21st. So that's my little ordering special for this week. Now all the cards that I've made this week you can get the PDFs for. There's a link in the description for just joining my mailing list, and then you'd get them from there. Or you can join at my free Facebook group as well. So for card making for beginners and beyond, again the link is in the description, because when I normally I just do Facebook lives on a Wednesday, but sorry, I've just been distracted. Hi Terry Sue or Sue Terry, or maybe Terry Sue, maybe it's a double barrel first name. Let me know. But you're in the US, well what time is it there? You must be quite early. It's got to be at least 6 o'clock in the morning. But yay for making a live. So yeah, so that's the way to get. So normally I do a Facebook live every Wednesday, and the PDF goes in that Facebook group as well. So if you go along and join that, no Stampin' Up demonstrators, I'm afraid, but everybody else is welcome, and those PDFs get uploaded there. Right, should we get on with today's card then before I, my voice goes? I might have to have a little slug of tea that you can't see. Or hopefully here. And let me show you today's card. Ta-da! So we are keeping it simple this week. It is not all bells and all whistles. They're quite simple in design, but still effective, I think. Simple but stunning. And again, I'm going to go through this. I'm explaining it a little bit more than I perhaps normally would, because this week is aimed at people who are beginning out card making, and you don't always know. You know, if I sit there and go, this DSP, well, DSP doesn't mean anything to you. DSP is Stampin' Up's designer series paper, but out there in the real world, it's pattern paper. That's what it is. It's paper that's got a pattern on it. But DSP means nothing. So yes, I'm going to expand a little bit more than I normally would, and just show you some other bits and bobs as well. So I mean, let me show you. Oh, I should be more organised. Let me show you what you've already missed. So if you haven't managed to join me, or you haven't seen the catch-ups this week, then card 1 on Monday was that one. Then we went on to card 2, she says, which was this one. So we're just using punches and that. We're not getting too technical. And yesterday's was this one. Now, all 4 of these cards use that Field and Flower pattern paper. So I mean, look at the differences on them and the difference of the cards we're getting, but it's still the same pack of paper. So just different colours that I've picked out of that pattern paper. So yesterday we did kind of show you how to get this textured look. So that is by using an embossing folder and an embossing machine. And I'm going to show you what you can do with it today, but you don't have to have it, because the cut and emboss machine is £112, so it is quite an investment, especially for someone just starting out. But once you've got it, you've kind of got it for life. The only thing you need to replace on it is plates, but they're not too expensive. So let me show you what I'm talking about in case you didn't see it yesterday. So this is my, let's move this to one side for a minute. This is my mini stamp and emboss machine, and as the name suggests, it's not a stamp and emboss at all. It's a cut and emboss. It would be a miracle if it's stamped as well. That would be really great. Oh dear. Right, so this is a cut and emboss machine. So we showed you yesterday the embossing folder and how to get that that subtle textured card effect. And today I'm just going to show you what the cut bit is. So often called die cutting machines. Now I did say this was a mini version because you can see it's not much bigger than my hand, to be fair. But I do have its big brother as well, which I showed yesterday, but that doesn't show very well on camera. And it stores nice and neatly, but these platforms go down, clunk, to use it. And then you have a variety of plates, different thicknesses, different colours. They're numbered, so you know which ones to use for what. In fact, there's another one that you can see. I've been using a bit of pink on that. So these are the plates that you would need to replace after some time. You'd need to do a good few hundred cuts or more on those before they'd need replacing. But so they are a consumable, but the other bits are just layers. And as I kind of explained yesterday, you've got a roll, I don't think you can really see it, a roll at the bottom and a roll at the top. And all it does is just squeeze things together, adds pressure. So depending on what you're cutting, depending on what you're putting through, depending on the thickness of what you're doing, you need a variety of these platforms. But it tells you what you need on there, so you don't need to guess. Please don't try and then struggle and then break your machine. Read instructions and use what it says. But what's the cut bit? So often known as a die cutting machine, not just a cut machine, a die cutting machine. These are what we call dies. And so these are, if I take them out, so you get them in a selection, and this set is great because it's got sort of layering dies. So remember when we used the circles yesterday, we layered a smaller circle on top of the big circle. Where is it? Hold on. So that you could say was the layering circles because they layer perfectly on top of each other. Exactly the same for these. So that they would all layer on top of each other. These would, and then you've got extra bits as well. But today I'm just going to show you, because I actually used that one to cut out that shape. So if you can see, it cuts out that shape. It also leaves, because a lot of Stampin' Up dies have this stitching detail. Just gives an extra bit of detail. It's nothing more than a decorative look. It's not functional, it just looks pretty and adds a little bit of je ne sais quoi. But I am going to make this card a slightly different way today. So not using dies, just purely because I know that not everybody has these machines. Now I would suggest that if you are taking card making seriously, then you do get yourself one of these machines, even if it's this mini one, just because you've then got options available and it just opens your mind. Because these dies come in literally every shape you can think of, letters, so you can start personalising all your cards and things like that. Perhaps if you scrapbook, it will do titles on scrapbooks and more. And as I've said before, with Stampin' Up, everything coordinates. So these all coordinate. So these random dies here actually go with the stamp set and cut out some images. So you can see there's flowers. That's actually a hippo, because this is called, is it called Hippo and Friends, or just Hippo? Yeah, Hippo and Friends. But it just so happens that it has lots of label dies in as well. So that's a really good set. I love that set. But we're not going to use that. So it's kind of this is what I did do, but we're going to do it a different way, just because, as I say, if you don't have your die cutting machine. But if you do want one of these, then obviously your two ways of getting it cheaper. So I can't remember what I said. No, I can't find. It was about £90. So instead of £112, I think you can get it. It's £89.20 rings a bell from yesterday. Don't quote me on that. So you could either include it in a starter kit, so £112, and then pick £18 of your choice, perhaps on some dies. And then every order you place after that is you get your 20% off. Or you could obviously put other things in your starter kit, and then once you can order as a demonstrator, then you get your discount. And it's a minimum of 20%. So you'd get it for, say, I want to say £89.20 rings a bell from yesterday. And once you've got it for life. Same with the acrylic blocks that we've been using as well. So right, should we get on? My voice seems to have come back, so that's good. Still using the same bit of scrappy grid paper all week. So you don't have to use a new one every time you do. I normally do. But then I normally have nice nails as well, and I haven't. Lockdown nails. I have to say that occasionally, because I know that people are going to be watching this back in months' time. They're going to go, oh my God, look at the state of her nails. I would sit there and go, oh my God, look at the state of her nails. Yeah, so I feel I have to justify that, so you don't all go, oh, look at her nails. Right, so I just wanted to do some basics today, just because we've done what I've done. So this is my A4 piece of card if you're in the States, which Terry is. I know you have your, is it 8.5 by 11, because you're all inches and we're all centimetres. So what I do normally is I put this up to 14.8 or 9, some people do 9, and I just use my trimmer and do that. And that's my A5 card that I've been folding in half to create my card bases. So that's one way of cutting it, but I'm mixing it up this week. This week, I've done it the short side. So instead of 14.8, we go 10.5. I put my trimmer blade at the bottom and up I go. I'm always pushing up because that is against a ledge. Whereas if I pulled it down, it's got the chance that it might make the paper wiggle. So always up against, always up. And you can change your blade round. So once you've used one side, you can use the other. So instead of, that's your two basic card shapes. One like that, and as I say, we've been using that all week, but this week we're using that one. So let's bring all that back in again. But it works exactly the same as before. So to make my card blank, and it also makes exactly the same size card as well. So I'm just going over that corner to that corner and that corner. Again, I'm not scoring or anything. I'm making sure I'm happy that it's straight. And when I am, down with my bone folder. Remember bone folder, super essential, super cheap. Right, what have I got? I don't know what I've got here. I prepped these all last week. Right, here's my card. Let's put that there so I know what I'm making. So as usual, again, I have cut a couple of layers. So again, we've talked about it being 1/2 centimetre short. I think in the, God, what is it in the States? It's not even 1/2 inch, is it? It's less than 1/2 inch. It's 1/8 inch. 1/4 inch? 1/4 inch maybe. Don't quote me on any of this, Terry. You would know. So that's 1/2 centimetre smaller. That is 1/2 centimetre smaller again. Now you could, as per yesterday, you could, if you had an embossing machine and you had embossing folders, you could add that texture to the background or some kind of pattern or anything that you've got, you could use on here. I still wanted to keep it quite simple, so I haven't. I've just done that plain. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Tombow glue that's been upside down. So again, I'm going to tip tap it. Now this card you could open this way, which is what we're going to do today, but you could turn it around that way and have it book style as well. So again, still portrait and landscape, but just slightly different to what we've been doing all week. And if you've got any questions, just wait while I'm tapping away like a woodpecker. Then just shout away. Happy to answer anything. Good tip about going up. Always go up with the blade, yeah. Just because you'll find that doesn't matter how careful you're being or how much you're pushing on that plastic bit across the top, you can still wiggle it, and that's when your cuts become uneven. So always above that. The other thing, of course, just going back to that because you've mentioned it, move these out the way. So I tend to go up, but you could also use, you can't really see it, can I see it if I go, it is also down there as well. So if I was cutting, let's say 4 inches, I'd move it to the 4 inches and then I could go down because that again has a ridge, so it's not going to slip. Whereas if I was to put it down there and then push it up, it can twist away from me because you're pushing the pressure up. So always butt it up against an edge, top or bottom, whichever you like. Some people, and I think left-handed people, don't quote me on that because I'm not left-handed, would prefer to use it up the other way as well. So you can do both, whatever you want, whatever is easiest for you. But trimmer's a great investment as well, great basic investment. And again, the only thing you're replacing on that really is blades, and they last depending on how long or how many bits of paper you cut. So they could last months, they could last a week if you're making a load of wedding invitations. So there is my couple of layers. And you remember what I've said before? I like to try and pick the colours out of the pattern paper. So we've got the black background and we've got the black background. We've got some white here, so we've got a white layer and that white card. I've picked out the red, but I could have picked out the green as well for the flowers. So we could have had green flowers or a couple of each. And then I have picked out the yellow as well, because I just like the yellow. It's very sunshiny, isn't it? That's what we want at the moment. Then I've got my piece of pattern paper. So again, don't forget all the dimensions are on the PDF that you can grab. Oh, that's a bit longer, I think, actually. Mine will go a bit longer. So whatever I've cut that to. And we do have a couple of options for cutting this tail, if you like. So we do, if I don't, oh, see, this is the perfect. So if you are, how can I do this and still show you? I know what I'm going to do. So this is one of my punches that I actually use up the proper way. So you've got inch, inch and a half and 2 inches. And if you cut your card exactly like that and push it in, it works exactly the same as all the other punches. Go like that. How easy is that? That's what we love. I didn't put that on there actually because I was going to teach you how to cut your own. Because you may not have that, but that is a great punch for doing all that. As long as your paper width is 1, 1.5 or 2, it's super easy. But let me just show you on this piece. So, oh, she says scissors. So how, if you don't have something as nifty as that punch, you could sit there and do this and cut it that way. You'll never get it right. You'll never get it right. It'll always be wonky one side. So what I tend to do is fold this in half-ish. Again, edge to edge. Do my, I mean, I'm doing it roughly. I wouldn't do it like this normally. So that's the centre. And I would snip up as far as I wanted to go. So you've got that. Can you see that? And then I would go in each corner. That is how you make sure that one side isn't different to the other. And look at that. That's pretty good, isn't it? So that's your 2 ways. With a punch, with scissors. Right, let's get rid of that. So I'm going to stick my pattern paper down. So no dimensions used yet. Everything is flat. I really like this spotty. I need to make a card with this polka dot on it, which I did. I kept wanting to use it when I was making these, and I was like, oh no, that's not flowery. Can't do that. So again, put your card on your grid paper so that it's as straight can be, and you can try and get it as straight can be. I mean, hopefully if that's straight and you've put it on there, it should all be good. So there we go. Right, now I need some scissors. No, not some scissors, a ruler. Because I'm going to measure. I should have done all this beforehand, but I only thought this morning, oh, I could make this without a die cut. So what is that? Let's say it's 6 by 8. Okay, so I'm going to cut a piece of white card, 6 by 8. Oh, so it's all upside down. That's what's confusing me. Oh, there's the cat. Oh, you can't see the cat because you can't see that way. It's just flown in. Right, so 6 by 8. Oh, I didn't follow my own rule then, but I am holding on to this so it didn't wiggle. Don't do that. Always go up. Do as I say, not as I do. I've been doing this a while. And then, so I did think another way to do this was, so if you cut one corner at whatever angle you want to, then use that cut off bit as your template to go over that corner, and then you will know that every single corner you do is exactly the same. Because if you do this by eye, you'll never get it right. So I'm just putting that one over. I would never get it right. But if you use a template, they'll be exactly the same. Look. So this shape, that way. There we go. Oh, I see there, I can see there. So there, get rid of those bits, we don't want those now. But there we go, look, so that shape isn't too dissimilar. In fact, it's not bad at all, is it? It's come out better than what I thought. But how do you get the stitching detail? So there was a few ways to do this. We used to have like reels. I think, are they dressmaking reels or something like that? It's when you do patterns and things like that. So you could use a ruler and you could use one of those if you've got one of those. You could sit there and punch holes. We used to have, they were called piercing templates. And there were bits of plastics that had all the dots, so you could do exactly the right dots spaces, so you could actually physically poke a hole through. But if I can find a pen, hold on. I'm just going to use a Sharpie. I should probably use my black Stampin' Up right marker. But you can just, so this is a dotted line. And it's not going to be perfect. And they're not going to be exactly the right, and they're going to go a bit wonky like that. But day one of card making, most people can't have it all. So I'm here this week offering my top tips of how I think my dashes are getting a bit longer now. There you go. No, I mean, let's be honest, it's not as fantastically great and perfect as that one, but it's not bad, is it? Not bad. And it makes it look a little bit more handmade because it's not perfect. But it depends what kind of look you're going for. But I thought that was quite good. So something else I wanted to show you this week was something called a Stamparatus. Stamparatus. What's the word? I don't know. You say tomato and I say tomato. So what is one of these? So this is otherwise known as a stamping platform. So if you've heard people say stamping platforms, this is a stamping platform. And what do you use them for? So a whole variety of ways. And I've got a scrappy bit of paper. I really should have got a better bit of paper. I might even see if I can find one. I'm a little bit embarrassed by how disgusting that is. So you can get replacement pads. You see? Just like mini grid paper. One side centimetres, one side's inches. So there we go. And you've got a mat under there as well. Remember what I said the other day about photopolymer stamps not having that sponge bit? That's for that, but I have to say I keep it in for everything. So that comes with that. It comes with 2 magnets, but if you put them together, they'll smash. So don't do that. So I only use one. So what I'm going to do is, what do I want? I need my stamp. Oh, there it is. Right, so this stamp is from the set You Are Amazing again. So we've used the happy birthday, the congrats, and I haven't used the congrats. I'm using the congrats tomorrow though. I just remembered that. And the hip hip hooray. So we want that hip hip hooray. So I'm going to get that out of there. And get rid of that. Might have another slurp of my tea while it's still warm. Oh, it's not that warm anymore. Ugh. Right, okay. So so this is good for, you may have dexterity problems, so acrylic blocks and that you can't quite get the pressure right, and so your stamping might come out uneven. That might be one way. It might be that you are making multiple cards of the same thing, and rather than every single time on an acrylic block having to match it up and go, oh, I think that's right. Once this is in place, it will stamp in the same place over and over and over again, which also means that if you stamp once and you haven't inked it quite correctly, or you have added pressure and it's come out a bit wonky, really doesn't matter, because all you have to do is go back and re-ink it again. And you'll see that in a minute when we do what we do. Now you can put this anywhere here, but it's going to be, I need to make sure there's nothing on there. No, there isn't. Good. So this is the stamp, and I know it's that way. And so I'm going to keep that. I am going to use the corner, so I know the card is there. And I'm going to say that I'm going to want this. So I'm putting it as central as I can. I'm making sure the border there is similar to that border. The border each side is similar. I'm hoping it's as straight as it can be, but we'll find that out in a minute. So I put my stamp down there as if I was stamping it. Now I don't have an acrylic block, obviously, because this is my acrylic block here coming over. So this actually comes with 2 of these plates, but I just have one on because I don't do 4 things at once. Right, so then I'm just going to move that out of the way for the minute, because what I'm going to do is a little trial run. I'm going to see if it's where it needs to be. I'm going to see if it is on as straight. Now that's where these lines come into effect. So I'm not bothered about inking it up properly. I wouldn't normally do that because this isn't my end image. But by just doing that, I'm kind of like, oh, I'm a little bit wonky there, actually. So this is where I always have to sit and think, right, my U needs to go down a bit. Right, so I'll move that round again. And I'll go again. Yeah, you can do this for a while. Let's go 4. Needs to go down. Right. Now, and I'm only being this perfect because I'm stamping on a piece of paper that's already cut out. If I was doing this, so I could do what I would normally do, to be fair, is I would put this anywhere at all. I might just do it like that. I put that in place so it didn't move. I've got some ink all over the place. It really wouldn't matter how it's stamped because I'd then go and die cut it out or punch it out or cut it out. And it's still a bit wonky. I don't normally use it for this. Right, which way am I going? I'm going 4. Goes up like that. And it has got lines on here. I should just use those, to be fair. Let's have a last chance ditch. And that's it. But you can fart around for hours. But that's the joy, is that you can. Until it's perfect. But, as I said, normally I will always, that'll do, I will always stamp first and then die cut or punch. So I don't normally have this problem. But you could do it. So if you cut a die cutter shape out first, you could do it this way, but it's just not the way I'm used to. But I'm just kind of showing you can. That's better. And if it's not, I'm not going to do it again. Oh, that'll do. That'll do. As I say, I would always cut afterwards, but for now, that's fine. And now you can see, so you could, if you had 100 of these to do, you just put your next piece of card, go like that, do this, do that, do this, do that. And lots of our designs of our stamps actually are designed so that you can take this plate out, you move it up 1 notch, and then you can stamp again. Obviously, it's not one that's this big, but you can keep, it's called hinge stamping. And you could keep going up. So if you're doing like a rainbow or 5 different colours of a strip of a stamp, that's how you do it and even it perfectly. So there's all sorts of things you can do with that, but that's a whole nother, let's not do that today because we'll be here all day. But I just thought I'd show you what is here. So again, for dexterity problems, for having to try again. And the other thing I would say as well was that if I didn't like that, I could just ink it up again and go over and over and over. If you were doing that by hand on an acrylic block, you would never get it right. You'd never be able to overstamp what you'd stamp. You'd be a millimetre out or anything. This you could stamp over 100 times on the same bit of card and it will always go exactly the same place. So that's what's good about these. But I trust myself. I've been stamping for many years, so I trust myself with my placement. And in fact, that's not the greatest, but yeah, there we go. Right, now let's bring the card back in. So we've only got a few more bits to do. I wouldn't be happy with that normally, but I'm not going to go there. I could do that. Hang on, let's see if I can do it better by hand. I mean, that's not why I would use the Stamparatus. I just wanted to kind of show you what it was. I would normally use it, well, as I say, always on a piece of card that wasn't die cut or punched first. So then it really wouldn't matter how straight or what it wasn't. But let's do this. Oh, I can't see now. That'll do. That's better. See, sometimes after practice you're better by hand. And you can do other things around here as well. So, I mean, I remember I used to do this all the time. It used to be dot, 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 do, 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 do. And then it used to be crosses, space, cross, space, cross, space. All that, I'm sure it was all before the days of Zentangle as well. What did I do next? Dash, dot, 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 dash, dot, 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 dash. Doodling, we used to doodle over everything. And then what did I do? Cross, dot, cross, dot, cross, dot. And then normal. Doop, 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 doop. And then a dot, 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 dot. That'll do. There we go. So just different things. I used to do it on everything. All this, as I say, it was pre-Zentangling as it is. If you don't know what Zentangling is drawing, generally in a black marker, filling in the spaces and often colouring it in. But yeah, lots of sort of doodles. So that'll do for me. But you may have noticed, but you're like, well, hang on a minute, because that for you is red. Oh, yes, it is. So, away goes my trusty black Memento ink pad, and out comes my, behind my plant that I need to move, hang on. So Cherry Cobbler. So yesterday we used Misty Moonlight. I now have Cherry Cobbler for us. And professionally clean my stamp. I've dropped it in an ink pad and everything here. I'm making a right old mess. Oh dear. Right, so I could ink up the whole thing, but it's not going to fit on here. I only need the for you at the bottom. So in fact, I'm going to stamp off like that, because that's the only bit I need. And I know that was a clean bit of paper. And then you can, I'm going to cut it out by hand, because it's reasonably small, it's reasonably straight. Oops. Can't see what I'm doing. So I'm cutting it there. So I could have, we kind of went through before, was it day one? Well, I think it was actually the other week, about how you can get two colours on one stamp without doing it like this. I think it was the other day, to be fair, but let me show you. Let's do that again just while we're here. Yeah. To clean your stamps better than this. I will clean them all afterwards. I'm just doing it for a sec. Right, don't lose that bit. Right. So if I had, let's say that one, let's just go with these. So these are watercolor markers. So say you can't colour with shiny things, and if you stamp in Memento ink, you can't colour with these either. But you can colour in as you normally would. It's got a brush end and a fine tip end as well. Often good for if you were to if I was to stamp something like this, and perhaps I'd missed a bit, I could fill it in with the other bits. But what you would do, and I'm not doing this super professional, is you colour in, because this is the same ink that's in our ink pads. So I think I said before I would probably get pens before I got ink pads, and then get ink pads in my favourite colours. So I'm just using the brush tip end and going over all of that. Now this does dry pretty quickly because it is water based, but I'll show you what we do in a minute. It's a very technical thing. But if you're wondering how you get more than one colour on a stamp without cutting it out like that, I'm really going to do it on this rubbish bit of card. I am. So technical thing. Is you huff, because huffing releases moisture from your mouth and puts it on your stamp, and that moistens the ink. And there you go. Let me let it dry a bit. I've picked two colours that are really close together, but you should be able, I think you can see the difference there, can't you? Just about. So that's the purple into the blue, and then a purple at the bottom. Really should have picked two better colours than that, but I'm hoping. Let me bring my light right down. Can you see? You can see that, can't you? Please tell me yes. Oh dear, but that's how you do that. So I wasn't going to do that today either. I mean, we're rabbiting it again. I thought, no, I'm not going to rabbit today. Okay, so what do I need? I need some baby dimensionals. If you could see my desk right now. So these are exactly the same as the other ones, but they're mini, so they are smaller. So I use those for my smaller ones. You could put it straight over. You don't have to add dimension if you don't want to. Just me, I like a bit of dimension. So there we go, and then we put it over the top, like that. Okay, we are almost there. Then I'm going to bring in my punch. This is the same punch we used on our first day, so always upside down so I can see and make sure I'm on the card. Remember odd numbers. And where's my dimensionals gone? There they are. Well, I could use bigger ones on those actually. So, just about, yeah. Although I didn't use dimensionals on my other card. Doesn't matter though. Right, here we are. There's that card. There's my other bit that's been cut without a die. You can see a die makes it an awful lot neater. And as I say, again, I would have stamped it and then die cut it out, because the die cut you can move around what you've stamped, so it will always stamp better. And you can use either a magnetic platform or some like repositionable tape just to keep it in place and make sure it doesn't move. But this will do for today. So there we go. So that's that. I've got my 3. Again, I was going to call them circles. They're not circles, they're flowers. Here we go here. And let's see. That'll do. Right, let's have a quick look at comments. So, Cash news, you at work, don't work too hard, Paula. An old X-cut perforator, yeah, absolutely, that would work as well. We used to sell those years ago as well. You're going to try some two-tone stamping using the platform. Yeah, try and do a better attempt than I just did. You can see the difference. I'm glad about that, because I wasn't sure it was showing up that well. The only thing I regret is all the money I wasted buying all non-Stampin' Up products many years ago before I found Stampin' Up, and the time wasted trying to match card, papers and colours. Ali, you could be me. That is exactly what I spent. Thousands of pounds over the years. Now, I mean, I was doing work for magazines, but that was it. I almost had to have everything there on hand, depending on what they were going to ask me to do. And yeah, absolutely. I didn't intentionally only use Stampin' Up products. I just found that I fell into them because they were good quality, they matched, and as you've just said, you don't spend 5 hours pulling everything out because you think it might go. Which is what I did. So yeah, so I just found that I fell into Stampin' Up, and well, I mean, it is an investment, but again, to be fair, once you've got ink pads, you've got pens, you've got the cardstock, the basics, you can make anything, and it all coordinates, which is the thing. So we're back to our matte black dots that I used again on day 1, just to have a little embellishing going on there. Oh, pop. So that's our final touch. So you've got your 3 in your triangle there. So you decide. Yes, the one on the left looks more professional. The one on the right looks more homemade and handmade. But I'm just going to show that some of these things you don't have to have it. But if you do want a die cutting machine, I've explained the ways that you can get it cheaper as well. But that's our card for today. So, right, so if anyone's got any questions, I'm here. I know there's a delay, so I will wait a little while, but if you haven't, then don't worry. That's it for today. So don't forget, tomorrow we are in that Facebook group. So you've got to be on that online workshop Facebook group to catch me over there. And it's 4 cards tomorrow, so goodness knows how long that's going to take. No, I will, honestly, I will be. Some of them are super simple as well, because you don't need to do a lot to them. So yeah, no, I won't keep it going on forever and all afternoon. I haven't got all afternoon. But that's it for today. As I said to you, don't forget the ordering special. That means you get the instructions, the PDF, the cardstock, the Tombow, the dimensionals, when you place your £50 order with that host code. So just use that link in the description. And yeah, and if you want the instructions for this and all the cards for this week, then go and join the Facebook group if you're not a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and they're all in there, or they will be by the time I finish this afternoon. Yeah, or you can sign up for them, whatever. But that's it for today. I've loved having you here all week, so I'm hoping you can join me tomorrow. You could actually see me now and send the card. Hello. But Stampin' Up boxes galore and junk galore behind me. But yeah, I've had lots of deliveries the last couple of days, and I'm sorting them all out. But that's it. Shout if you've got any questions, if you want to tag me or PM me, then that's it. If you've got a long wish list, come and talk to me. There's no pressure. And say that offer runs out in 10 days. So there's lots of people. It does seem that there's only people, I did laugh at this, only people whose first names begin with S have joined this month. I make a little something to send out to my new teamies, and I'm not going to spoil it because I know one was watching yesterday and I don't know if she's here today, so I don't want to spoil the surprise. But I have been personalising things, and all I've been cutting out is S's. And in fact, yesterday I had 2 ladies join my team, both called Sarah. But if you aren't called Sarah, it's all fine, you're allowed to. You can come and join us. But yeah, it's just a great crafting community, so why wouldn't you do it? Get a discount and find some new stamping and crafting friends who understand that we can't use and cut paper. But you can. The whole point of Stampin' Up is you get 6 designs, 2 of each. One that you can keep and stroke, and one that you can use. So that's why I think they do it. Otherwise people would never use anything. Right, I'm going to love and leave you, and I will see you in that online workshop group at midday tomorrow. So thanks for joining me all week. You can watch the replays. I'd love to know if you are watching it on replay, let me know. And don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to this Facebook page, and you'll get notified when I'm going live anyway, which I say is every Wednesday at midday anyway. But that is going to be changing. We're not changing. I'm going to do additional in March, but that's not till March. Right, thanks for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.